During the Second World War, the German army developed many new tools and methods to improve the effectiveness of its troops across different combat environments. While weapons and vehicles usually receive the most attention, the camouflage systems and psychological tactics produced by the Third Reich also resulted in some of the most inventive yet least remembered developments of the war. Within this context, the Waffen-SS became the first fighting force to widely employ camouflage patterns on military uniforms. These developments originated from designs commissioned by SS Obersturmbannführer engineer Wilhelm Wim Rennie Brandt and created by art professor Johann Georg Otto Schick. The effectiveness of these patterns is evident even today. Nearly all modern armies around the world use camouflage designs based on principles first developed by Professor Schick more than 80 years ago. Although the camouflage clothing seen in wartime photographs became an iconic symbol of the Waffen-SS, much like the runes on their collar patches, there were other lesser-known but equally important pieces of equipment. These included face veils and combat masks for snipers, which completed the camouflage system. Produced using the same techniques and nature-inspired patterns, these items allowed soldiers to blend even more effectively into their surroundings. Every element, from the green and brown color tones to the reversible seasonal designs, was carefully planned to achieve maximum concealment. However, beyond their battlefield usefulness, these masks also covered facial features, removing all visible expression. The wearer became an emotionless figure, almost a faceless hunter. Because of this effect, some researchers have suggested that these masks may have influenced enemy morale and civilian perceptions, creating feelings of fear and uncertainty wherever they appeared. Today, we will explore the history of these camouflage masks and face veils used by the German army, particularly by the Waffen-SS. We will examine their design, development, and their possible psychological effects on soldiers and civilians during the war. The camouflage masks and face veils used by the Waffen-SS during the Second World War represent a striking combination of art, technology, and military planning. Beyond hiding identity, these carefully designed garments help soldiers blend into their environment and improve tactical camouflage. Regarding materials, these items were mainly produced from waterproof cotton. This fabric was chosen for its strength and its ability to hold detailed camouflage patterns, allowing it to endure harsh battlefield conditions. The material was also reversible, enabling soldiers to adjust their camouflage to different seasons or surroundings. One side could be white for winter snow, while the other displayed camouflage patterns such as Platanenmuster, plane tree pattern, or Eichenlaubmuster, oak leaf pattern, which were suited for wooded areas. German camouflage patterns were diverse and carefully designed to imitate nature. Their purpose was to break up the human outline, making soldiers harder to detect. For example, the plane tree pattern, introduced in 1937, used irregular shapes that simulated sunlight passing through leaves, making it effective in forests. The oak leaf pattern, used from 1943 to 1945, featured shapes resembling fallen oak leaves. Another pattern in this group was Erbsenmuster, P-dot pattern, introduced between 1944 and 1945. It used small dots to blur uniform outlines. However, it was less common on masks due to its late introduction and lack of reversibility. The main designer behind these camouflage patterns was Johann Georg Otto Schick, an art professor from Munich and head of the German Camouflage Research Unit. To fulfill this task, Schick studied how light interacted with natural environments, especially forests, across different seasons. This research resulted in camouflage designs that were both visually effective and practical in combat, reducing soldier visibility. These garments also included practical features. For winter combat, they incorporated a breath diffusion system. This consisted of a fabric flap with eyelets near the mouth that dispersed warm breath, preventing visible vapor clouds. This feature was vital for snipers who needed to remain hidden in cold conditions. Additionally, the masks could be combined with other camouflage equipment such as helmet covers. This created a unified camouflage system across Waffen-SS uniforms, including clothing, helmets, masks, and face veils. Many historical and academic sources agree that psychological warfare became a crucial strategy during the Second World War. Influencing fear, perception, and morale could complement military force and sometimes decide the outcome of battles. The Waffen-SS, known for its brutality and ideological commitment, played a significant role in this psychological pressure. Its reputation alone acted as a weapon, instilling fear among enemies and occupied populations. Some units took psychological tactics further, using camouflage masks not only for concealment, but also for intimidation. During the Warsaw Uprising in August 1944, the Dirlewanger Brigade, a unit made up of criminals and marginalized individuals, committed severe atrocities, including the Wola massacre, in which at least 35,000 civilians and fighters were killed. In this urban setting, camouflage had little tactical value. Instead, some members wore masks to hide their identities while committing crimes. According to Polish sources, these masks increased fear by removing human features and turning perpetrators into terrifying figures. This raises the question of whether these masks functioned as psychological weapons, similar to other methods such as the Stuka dive bomber sirens known as the Trumpets of Jericho. As the war continued, the Waffen-SS gained a reputation as a disciplined and ruthless force willing to use terror to weaken enemies and control populations. Historians like Antony Beevor and James Holland note that both Allied and German soldiers viewed the Waffen-SS as a feared military elite. Their uniforms and symbols projected authority and cohesion. Camouflage masks reinforced this image. Beyond concealment, they added to the perception of the Waffen-SS as a calculated and intimidating force. Today, original Waffen-SS camouflage masks are extremely rare and highly sought after by collectors and historians. On live auctioneers, these items are listed as rare and valuable, selling for between $850 and $900 USD. At Original Militaria, a Spanish military antiques shop, a plane tree pattern mask was listed for 5,000 euros, roughly 5,800 US dollars at the time. These are among the few confirmed authentic examples available publicly. This suggests limited wartime production or widespread destruction after the war. Because of their rarity, research relies heavily on photographs and private collections, including those documented by historian Daniel Peterson. This scarcity raises important questions. How frequently were these masks actually used in combat? Discussions on the Axis History Forum note that while masks appear often in training photos, they are rarely seen in combat images. Some argue they were limited to snipers or machine gun crews, while others believe they served more as propaganda or training equipment. This leads to the central question of this topic. Were these masks simply tools of camouflage, or were they also designed to act as psychological weapons? Rather than being separate, both interpretations may be connected. The debate remains open, leaving each military history enthusiast to form their own conclusion.